Good evening, everybody. It is awesome to be here once again for this day number three share. So, if you haven't caught my last two videos, I'm essentially going live every single night for 30 days just to share more about myself, open myself up a little bit more than maybe I have in the past, hoping that it might inspire you to do the same. And so each night I'm having these just kind of raw, real, unscripted conversations with you. And I don't plan them ahead of time. I kind of feel into it before I go live, and whatever I feel needs to be said or come through, I just allow it to happen. So tonight I want to talk about um, my awakening and my journey back home to me, right? So a lot of us have lost ourselves in this process of life. And, we're born into this world and we have so much wonder and awe and excitement. And it's just like, I mean, of course, you don't remember it all because you're so small, but I now see it through my son's eyes. I watch my son every single day and looking at him look at the world. And Sarah and I talked about this tonight. Like, how incredible is it to see through the eyes of a baby and what they see and what they perceive? It's incredible to watch that process unfold. And for those of you that have kids, you might be able to relate to this. It is absolutely incredible in every single way. And so the point of all of this is watching these kids, especially my son, every day with these eyes of wonder, and just he is just in complete awe with the world. And over time, through different societal conditioning, through going through different school systems or having a certain set of parents or friends, or, there's so many different factors, our potential and our power becomes squandered. Our remembrance of who we truly are behind the masks, behind all of the facades and all of that. And I touched on that a little bit last night. But through these years, from ages 0 to 7 are the years that are so crucial for our children's development and their emotional, mental, spiritual, physical development. And oftentimes we go through these systems where all of what we're told is just all limiting to us, that then again squanders our potential and that awe and wonder we once had for the world. And so the reason I bring this up is because I, like pretty much every single person watching, has gone through certain things throughout their life to then, forget who they truly are. And now that I'm on this journey or this path to waking up to my true core power and the gifts I brought into this world and who I am as a person and all of that, it's such a magical process. But it takes a lot of work. It's that dark night of the soul. It's the hero's journey. And maybe you can relate to this, right? Embarking on this hero's journey, right? So the hero's journey starts where we have this urge to either or have this call to help or to contribute or to give back or just simply to discover ourselves and to discover who we are on a deeper level. And this happened to me several years ago. So I'm not going to get into the full details of every single part of the story because it's a very long story and I would sit here for hours telling you it, but just to kind of break it down in bits and pieces. So I was working a corporate job. I was just finishing my master's degree in organizational leadership and I was climbing the corporate ladder. And there was something in me that was just not satisfied whatsoever. I was very much, um, I was happy. I was always in a good spot mentally for the most part, but there was a part of me that was just missing. There was just a part of me that I don't know what it was. It was this puzzle piece that I was trying to jam into the overall puzzle, but it wasn't fitting. And I just couldn't take it any longer. So through this time and through this evolution of this realization that I needed more from my life and more from myself, I really was drowning myself in alcohol and binge drinking and really just crazy partying every single weekend. And it was a lot to handle, and I'm sure some of you might be able to relate to this. But I was at work one day and I had this absolute panic attack. I had this complete breakdown, wondering like, is this really it? Is this really all I've got? You know, do I am I truly living the life that I want to live? And of course, you know, at 25, 26 years old, you know, your priorities are a little bit different. But at this point I was kind of at the end of that cycle of like, you know what, like this was a really good run and I've had a great time, but like I'm ready to know more. I'm ready to like really ask those deeper questions about who am I? What am I here for? What is my purpose? And all of that. And so I had to do something about that, but I didn't know what to do. And you know, the synchronicity of life is really amazing. At that time, I didn't really understand what that really meant. But now that I look back on it and I see how my life has unfolded up until this point, there are so many little pieces and just these cosmic puzzle pieces that fit in when you set the intention that you're ready to like find yourself, or you're ready to know yourself on a little bit deeper of a level than on that surface level, and kind of cut through the bullshit, cut through the facades and the fakeness and all of that. And that's a journey, man. Like I'm still on that. I'm still shedding layers. I'm still letting go of myself and releasing more and more shit that just like is completely muddied the waters. And I'll be completely honest about that. Like this is not easy whatsoever. But at that time, at 25, 26 years old, I was ready for more, and so I dropped it all, and I found out about the Peace Corps. I left home, and a year later, after I applied, I got in, and I moved to Tanzania, Africa, halfway across the world. Like I completely jolted my entire environment. Like just said, fuck it, I am leaving and I am getting out of here. And it wasn't so much bitterness, but rather like I'm freeing myself. I'm breaking the chains. I'm like, there's like it's like the onion, right? That everybody talks about this, how it's the journey's about peeling back the onion and peeling back the layers. And it was like I'm just breaking free of the surface layer and let's go like get real with myself. And so, you know, a lot of you know how the story goes, but if you don't, I traveled, went to Tanzania, Africa. I served in the Peace Corps for close to 2 years. And I lived in isolation completely by myself, 17 hours away from the main city of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. And it was isolating. It was a complete shock to every single aspect of my life. And I remember the first night that I got there and I got to my village after spending 3 months with a host family who doesn't speak any English, like completely immersed in this very unknown situation. And I get to my village and I have a table and a chair and two chairs, and I'm sitting there and I'm just completely in utter shock of number one where I was, and it just all set in at that point. Like I have no clue what I'm doing right now, and I started crying. I just bawled my eyes out for like a straight hour, 2 hours, just cried and cried and cried, and just like had this incredible release. Like okay, I am letting go. I'm doing my best to surrender to whatever's happening right now, but it was really, really difficult. Um, but what isolation does to you, and this is very pertinent right now, considering the times that we're living in, right? So we're all in isolation, we're in this quarantine, and you have nothing, you have no choice but to face yourself and to look at yourself. And I think that's why where a lot of the uncomfortability comes from right now is people aren't ready to fully look at themselves. But if you just like let go of that one layer just a little bit, you start to dive in deeper and find these other aspects of yourself that you didn't really know was there. And that's what happened to me when I was living in Africa. Was like I was finding these deeper layers that I had no clue that even existed, and I'm still uncovering more that was like, holy shit, that's there. I have that ability. It's like, it's a slow process. And that's why you have to be patient with yourself. But, anyways, living in Tanzania was incredible. And then I meet Sarah, falling in love, and not just like this love, it's this cosmic love, it's this infinite love, it's this love that I've never experienced before. And through our relationship and through all of the things that Sarah and I have gone through, her personally and her story is like unbelievable. And the things that she's gone through, the things that I went through to get to her. And then we meet in this foreign land out of nowhere. The synchronicities that went into that story is unbelievable on every level, but I'll save that for another night. But what that type of love does for you and what relationships do for you in general is act as mirrors, and they show you where your wounding is. They show you where you're still hurt, where you're still fearful, where you can still grow into your edges. And Sarah and I just went headfirst into this like really intense deep dive of growth and challenging each other along the way. And this is all part of really finding myself and who I was, because she would mirror back and still continues to do so to this day, some of the things that I still hold on to, some of the resistance that I still hold on to. And I do the same for her. And we're just these constant mirrors for each other. And that's really what the beautiful thing about relationship is that whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or a family member, it doesn't matter. We have this opportunity to mirror back to each other what it is that we're going through and some of the things we need to heal through, some of the things that we need to grow into. And this has been, it's not easy. It's really fucking hard at times. Like, it's not easy at all. And there's been so many breakdowns that I've had personally and that Sarah has had personally through this journey of like really intense breakdowns, but then these really intense highs. And so it's this like really, really wild roller coaster ride of a journey. But you know what? That's what relationships will do. And that's the beautiful thing about all of this. So Sarah and I meet, we're in this other land, we come back home, and the journey continues, and we just dive deeper and deeper. And I think the beautiful thing about all of this is like what travel can do for you and opening yourself up to deeper layers. I know it has for me. It doesn't mean that you have to leave everything behind and go and do this and that's how you awaken to yourself or that's how you find yourself or whatever, however you want to put it. It doesn't matter. But it's really, really incredible to be able to immerse yourself in another land, another culture, and see what else is out there in the world if you have the ability to do that. But right now, you have this opportunity of isolation, which I have too, and which I've been really, really taking this time to find deeper layers that I haven't really tapped into yet, but also putting my creation forward and all of that. So, through this journey, Sarah and I traveled through South America and have gone all these different places. And I put plant medicine in the description because I see plants and work with plants on a very deep level in the sense that I see all of plant medicine. And I'm not just referring to ayahuasca or to mushrooms or to cannabis, but you pick it. It could just be the actual herbs that aren't psychoactive. Plant medicine in general, the plants have this way of communicating to us if we're willing to listen. And through this direct communication, if you open yourself up to it, and it's not always easy at times, but if you feel into the subtleties of the plants, especially if you're just working with herbal medicine, but if you get into the ayahuasca or into cannabis or into the other plant medicines, there's very, very much direct messages in that. And I know a lot of people travel to Peru or other places to do these different ceremonies and medicines. And, we went to Ecuador, we did a ayahuasca ceremony together. And it's definitely not the only thing that will wake you up. There's other forms of meditation and Kundalini yoga and all these other things. But for me, these experiences working with plants and working with ayahuasca or working with cannabis, and understanding how these plants can really help to bring you into this new level of understanding of yourself and bring you into this otherworldly realm where you can tap into these different aspects of who you truly are. And so that's really what it's been, a more of a catalyst for me in my journey, and awakening to my potential and power, and what I'm here to do. But to take it one step further, those are tools in the toolbox. And for me, they're really valid tools. But at the end of the day, it's just really about just completely honing in, and just going within without anything but just your breath, and using your breath just to take it deeper within yourself, and to awaken to what is trying to emerge and come through. But that is just a very small part of my journey and kind of where I am today and how I've got to where I am. But this is, like I said in the beginning, it's a hero's journey, right? And so we have these ups and these downs, and we go through the dark night of the soul. And the point of all of this is that through these dips and through these low periods, it's easy to get down on ourselves. It's easy to get really depressed, and that's okay to get depressed. It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to have fear, but it's not running away from those things. It's more like feeling into those things and feeling into whatever is trying to emerge, even though it's incredibly uncomfortable. Because the times where I've wanted to give up, the times where I've wanted to throw in the towel, the times where I've been scared shitless because of a certain situation, the times where I was worried sick and I couldn't sleep at night. And those moments are our true moments of really taking our evolution and our expansion to the next level. And when we can do that, and when we can feel into those moments that really test us, those challenges, those struggles, the pain, the fear, when we can truly tune into that, that is when the magic happens. And that's really what the journey is about. It's about the complete acceptance and release of whatever is coming through. And I say that with sort of, maybe it sounds like grace, but it's again, it's a challenge. So I guess all I'm saying is that through these challenges and through this growth and through all of this, it's all worth it, because you're remembering more of yourself and who you are and what you came here to do. Because everybody that's tuning into this right now, including myself, who's speaking this out, we all have something that we came here for. And it doesn't have to be grandiose, it doesn't have to be huge. But the point about all of this is like, let's not squander our potential any longer. Let's not succumb to our and diminish our power, and let's truly find out what it is we came here for. Because you know what, life is too damn short to not actually use what it is that you came here for, and use those gifts and those strengths and all of that. Because like me and everybody tuning in, we all have this puzzle piece in the collective, and it's really important for us to really tune into that and find ourselves in that way. So that was just a little brief rambling reflection, whatever you want to call it, for tonight. I'm sure I can go in many different directions. It's hard to keep on topic sometimes when just kind of coming through, but uh, there's going to be more of these. I'm going to do this every night for the next, can't do the math, 27 nights. I've done 3 right now. So really looking forward to connecting with all of you. And thank you so much. Yeah, Felicity, I'm sorry I didn't catch this earlier. If you're still tuning in, you visited the country and she grew up there in Tanzania where I was, which is pretty amazing. And Natalie, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, growth is really insane, and it can be really challenging and difficult, but it's also beautiful and perfect at the same time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening, this morning, wherever you're tuning in from, and I look forward to coming back tomorrow. So thank you, and have a beautiful day, afternoon, evening.